dashing through pages. Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages. Leviticus, laws to pause, find phrases. Turning them corners, your spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines. Hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the never blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered. Spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ. Flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message. Flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions. Streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick. Raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. All right. Sounds pretty good today. Yesterday we were having some problems. Not sure what that was about. It really could not have fully been my rig, but so I don't know if anyone else has done this. They've used the Twitch setup to control what they are broadcasting. In other words, Twitch will look at your stuff. It'll broadcast at the highest possible level. It'll do multiple streaming qualities so people can choose their quality and all of that. And like yesterday, it was broadcasting at like 1,500 kilobytes per second. And OBS recommends no more than 6,000. So I don't know if Twitch was causing the problem. I don't know if I had an ISP issue or if it was, an Amazon web server problem. But hopefully we're all good today. Hopefully we're good to go. And if you can see, there's a few hats missing already. I have been packing up for the conference. So I'll be at Reach Conference, leave tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I shouldn't say, I leave my house at 3:30, maybe, depending on how early I want to get to the airport. 3, 4, somewhere in there I need to leave. Oh, there's still the general rule of being there 2 hours ahead of time, which is still a good idea for the most part. But when you're the first flight of the day, it's like, I don't know if I really have to. And I'm at a small regional airport, so we shall see how that goes. So, Artsy, dude, wish you were heading to Reach. You're not headed to Reach at all, are you? It'll be one of these days, I will get to Philly, and then we'll get to hang. So there's that option too. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, pray for that. And it'll happen. It'll happen. Oh, and if you did not see, I think I posted in the Discord, but I never explained things. So if you know, as always, Min, and maybe you don't, he's West Coast. He's in the Bay Area. I've known him for 4 years. I've also known Pastor Mark from Lux Digital Church for 4 years. And Bubba from LTN. So I want to say 4 years ago, I knew that Lux Digital Church and Bubba were headed to Exponential, and I had a job at that time, and I just wanted to hang out with those guys and meet up. So I'm like, hey, how about I pay for an Airbnb and everybody can stay at it? Like, I'll just pay for the Airbnb and everyone can crash at the Airbnb. So I met up with those guys like 4 years ago. But as always, I've never met up with. So as always, picked me up from the airport. We went and we had lunch, and then he was going to drop me off at my hotel, but then realized, he had a half an hour time that we could still hang out before he had to take off. So he's like, let's get coffee. So rather than just go to the Starbucks, which was right there that we saw, I said, let's see if there's a local place. And I pull it up. We pull into the parking lot of the local coffee place, and there's Bubba and Matt and Druzy and Jamie from Satellite Gaming, all sitting there having a cup of coffee. And as always, and Mark had never met each other, Brandon and Mark, and so they got to meet each other because we went for coffee. So that was really cool. So those kinds of things happen, unscheduled. It was super cool. So yeah, one of these days, you and I will be in the same spot. There's a good chance. There is a good chance. It's just, I travel quite a bit. I don't have anything that draws me over to New York and Philly, like that area. There's very, very little that happens that's like, oh, let me go meet up over there. So, but it'll happen. I mean, I've been tempted to go to, was it PAX in Philly? That would be a thing that might draw me in, but I don't know. I hope you're doing well, friend. I have not seen you stream lately, but I've also been super busy the last 2 months and have not spent a lot of time watching a lot of streams outside of myself. Hopefully that will be changing here after this week. after this week, hopefully that'll be changing. So, all right. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, work has been hard recently. Okay. Yeah, and a lot of things have been hard for everybody recently. That's for sure. Papstio, morning all. So Papstio, I don't know. You've also been busy with other things. Yeah, I've been busy with conference for TCD. We had 4 of them, September into October. And then I've been busy traveling to my mom. I've been busy traveling to other conferences. This is the last of the conferences for the year. I have no more conference plans after Sunday. I will be conference done. Which will be good, but also, well, then I have all the way until March before I know of any travel plans. March and April will be travel plans again. So things are calming down now, thank God. Oh, that's good. So Papstio, I don't know what exactly happened. Seb, welcome, buddy. I went back to look, and I figured out the timing of the podcast that you and I did was when I was getting the new computer built and the old computer. And somewhere in there, if I downloaded the episode with you, the podcast, I cannot find a copy of it. And since the Church Digital doesn't have the long-term history of storing things, it's gone. So, Papstio, if you can find a copy of that podcast, let me know. I would love to get it and then edit it and then post that. And if it is not out there, if you can't find it, we need to do it again. We need to do it again so that we have a copy of that. And it won't be the same conversation, I know. And I was just thinking I wanted to go back and start listening to some of the conversations that I've had, and yours was one of them. So that's where it surprised me when it wasn't there, and I do not know what happened. I honestly don't know, but I know it was when I was transitioning to the new rig, because I've got saved on the other your photo for the podcast. Jono was the last one saved on the other computer, and he was the podcast right before you. So somewhere in transitioning from computers, I missed everything. So we'll need to figure that out. So if you can help me, if you can find it, oh man, that'd be so awesome to get that and post it. You don't have that far back on your list either. Okay. Yeah, and well, the thing is like on this one, like I have, like, let me go look a second how far back I actually have. Because I have 109 saved on this one. So let's see. That's all of those must be highlights. So let's get rid of that. Let's just do past broadcast. There we go. I got 50 that are saved. How? Okay, yeah. Mine only goes back to September. Yeah, so that was before then. So we'll have to figure something out. Get you on the podcast again. I will keep searching, see if there's a way I can find it, but I got a feeling it's not going to be there. I also need to check what I've got recently. I need to do that today before I leave, is download everything that's happened the last couple of weeks. So, sorry about that, man. All right. Since Reach Conference begins on Thursday, I travel there tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and give you the promo here early. And let's see which one I want to do. Let me do cosplay. Oh, the wrong one. Sorry. All right, there you go. So there is day one of cosplay. That is what I'll be wearing, everybody.
Attention.
Tip of the cap, Zack Attack. Tip of the cap. Sherry Hims, welcome in. All right, so yes, if by chance we still have 7 people who are going to reach and use my code FLATCAP, and you can still go. I mean, it's this week. Tickets are not that expensive. If you're in driving range and you're going to be able to go, let me know. We'll try to set you up with somebody that's already going so you can stay for free. I might have a couch after Wednesday. I've got someone crashing on the couch on Wednesday, perhaps, and then you could crash with me if you wanted to, if it worked out. Otherwise, there's other people that we could probably help you get connected with. So, but that's going to finally happen. I've been debating this. I'm not going to try to do my regular stream. I debate it. Like, okay, should I do my stream? Well, everything starts at 9 o'clock, and we need to get to the conference. So it's like, I'm not going to do regular. I'm going to plan, do some IRL type stream with my phone, and I'm going to bring all of that stuff. And like I said, I'm going to try to plan to. Not I'm going to guarantee. I'm going to try to plan. So this will be the last stream this week that's guaranteed to be happening. So let me we're doing X Otis. That's when you used to be an Otis, but you no longer are an Otis. You are an X Otis. But oh, let me do that. There we go. Okay. There we go. Yes, an X Otis. No longer an Otis. My brain wants to go, what is an Otis? Because my brain is always thinking of things like that, like tearing words apart. Like, if you've been redeemed, that means one thing. It means to be deemed again. What does deemed mean? I don't know what deemed mean. We're just going to have a little fun this morning. Meaning of Otis. The word Otis by itself doesn't have a standard meaning. As a mistaken shortened or stylized form of Exodus, sometimes people say or type Otis when they mean X-Otis. I've never seen anyone do this. Like, I'm making this up on the spot, and in Greek, Otis means way, path, or journey. X-Otis, the way out. A way of doing something. So if there's an Otis is the way, then X-Otis is no longer the way. No, anyway, it's the way out. Okay. What does deemed mean? Just since, I'm thinking about it. Oops, I spelled it wrong. He was deemed. Ooh, okay, worthy. It was deemed unlawful. Okay, to be judged or considered. Okay. Oh, Otis, noun combining form, Otis, animal having teeth of a specific kind in generic names in zoology. Ah, you found that. All right. Okay, so enough silliness this morning. We're going to Exodus 10. Exodus 10. There we go. We're getting down to the end of the plagues, everybody. Now, one of the things, if you have not been here, if you haven't seen this before, there are 10 plagues. You know what? I'm just going to go see what this. Who are the Egyptians? Who are the 10 Egyptian gods for the 10 plagues? Okay, that's what I wanted. It's going to do a decent job here. Hopti, god of the Nile and water. Khnum, goddess of the Nile's source. Osiris, Nile seen as his bloodstream. So if Osiris is the bloodstream and is the god, and this is bloodstream and it turns to blood, has Osiris been attacked and killed? Hey, welcome in, I'm watching. Frogs. Heket, frog-headed goddess of fertility and childbirth. So all of the children that had been killed would have been seen as, fertility, throwing in the Nile. And then you've got this. Yes, Guten Morgen. The gnats or lice. I like to think lice. Geb is the god of the earth. The dust of the earth becomes the source of torment. Flies. Khepri, god of creation, movement of the sun, and rebirth, depicted as a scarab beetle. Yeah, and I wonder, too, if instead of flies, it would have been like scarabs that would have been all over. So the god can't control the symbol of the god. The livestock, Hathor, the cow goddess of love and protection, and Apis, the sacred bull of fertility. So you've got those being attacked. Boils, Sekhmet, goddess of healing, and Imhotep, god of medicine. Hail, Nut, sky goddess. Shu, god of the air. Isis, goddess of agriculture. Okay, so and I've kind of thought on the level of the agriculture being destroyed, so Isis couldn't even protect, but it could be. See, this is one of the things, like, you start to look at it, there's multiple gods. Locust, Seth, god of storms and chaos. Nefer, god of grain. Darkness, Ra, the sun god. You're attacking the sun god, and then Pharaoh himself. Okay, that was a pretty good example, a pretty good explanation there. So just in case, because I say this, and I don't usually go and I look it up for you. I usually say, hey, the 10 plagues are attacks on the deities of the Egyptians, and the people know that they're attacking the gods of the Egyptians, with the bookends being rabbit. Oh, no, that's not a rabbit. That's solidly in what's we're talking about in the context here. The Nile, the source of life, to begin with, being attacked, and Osiris is bleeding because he's been defeated, and Ra, the god of the sun, getting the bookends of the pantheon of the gods. Of the two most important things is the river and the sun. That is where all life is going to generate and connect with. And then Pharaoh, the god's representative on earth. Oh, okay. So you were doing yeah. Yeah, this is a mini trail that's connected. You're talking about the breaking up words part of Exodus. Okay, yes, that's fair. And I think you just needed to put an S on the end. It's rabbits, plural. Hello, Bob. Good morning. All right, so we are on Plague 8. Plague 8. The Lord said to Moses, go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servant in order to display these signs of mine before him, and in order that in the hearing of your son and your grandson you may tell how I made fools of the Egyptians, and about my signs that I displayed among them, so that you may know that I am the Lord. So earlier, it seemed as if Pharaoh's servants, and this depends on if you mean all the magicians who are there or the whole land of Egypt, whether or not whose heart it is, who are the servants being mentioned here. But earlier on, there's an inclination to say this is the very finger of God. So at least acknowledgement of God, if not a, hey, we ought to be cautious and maybe you ought to let him go kind of an attitude. We don't know. They don't say that, but, there's that part. Considering there are locusts, yes, the plague 8 crops. Thank you, Disco Bear. The plague 8. That's hilarious, the Plague 8. That could be a mnemonic device to help you remember that the Plague 8 was locust because the crops were 8. Nice. Nicely played, my friend. All right. So what we have as we go through this is a both and. There is the action of Pharaoh hardening his heart, and then there is the action of God hardening Pharaoh's heart. So if you think about it in terms of if you have a stubborn kid that does not want to obey, at some point you do not let them get to something that you actually want them to do until they get fully to the point of begging to let you do what you wanted them to do in the first place. Like there is that kind of thing that you can spend time trying to do with them. I know it doesn't fully match in the same way, but hey, welcome in, Mel. Welcome in, Lucis. The best example that I can think of in regards to this is how if you send your kid to their room and the kid locks the door once they're in the room, you are doing something corrective, but they are hardening their heart against the correction by locking the door so you can't come into them. So there's that both and of things that are happening. And so while Pharaoh is taking action against God, God is keeping him in that state, making it deeper. So it's like here at Plague 8, he has pretended to he's going to let you go at various times. He is just going to dig in his heels from this point forward. And this is all part of, I'm going to make sure all the nations know I'm more powerful than Egypt, than he is. So Mel, you sound good today. No choppiest. Thanks. Yeah. I don't know what it was yesterday. I did. So for those that were wondering, I don't know if it was Twitch who was having the problem. So I had been using the let Twitch decide what bit rate you are doing, and it will do multiple streamings at the same time so that people can watch at different bit rates. And it was trying to stream at like 1,300 kilobytes a second yesterday. And I don't know why it was trying to do so high. I mean, OBS tells you don't go above 6,000. So I went in, I changed that setting and just set it at 5,000. So it looks smooth today. You had the same issue yesterday. So I figure it was probably... Well, I also had this when I was watching a couple of shows on TV, which were internet-based. I had that there as well. So I was wondering if it was a web service provider, an ISP, or Twitch. So that's because it's like, it shouldn't have been me. All right. Wow. So all we've got so far is in Plague 8 that Pharaoh's heart is going to be hardened. Why is God telling Moses this? Regardless of if Pharaoh is doing it or Moses is doing it, to say, hey, Moses, it's not going to happen yet. It's not going to happen yet. Yes, we're going with Plague 8, but there's going to be a Plague 9. He's not going to let you go after this one. There's going to be more. There is more on the way. Also, you're going to tell it to your sons and your grandsons. Your grandchildren are going to talk about how I made fools of the Egyptians. Welcome in, Ukulele. When are you headed over to the con? Are you headed over tomorrow or are you headed over on Thursday morning? Hit ality is a bold anthropomorphism. The word means to occupy oneself at another's expense, to toy with someone, which may be paraphrased with mock. The whole point is that God is shaming and disgracing Egypt, making them look foolish in their arrogance and stubbornness. Midday tomorrow to do setup on Taco Tranquility Zone. All right. If you need some help setting up the Tranquility Zone, I will be in Orlando early afternoon, and I'll be shuttling some people back and forth to the airport, but would be happy to help if you need help. So let me know. Or I will have a van, so if you need to load something and move it, let me know. Jesus walking on water and Jesus sleeping in the boat is separate event, right? Not on the same night. Correct. Second witness. Those are two separate events, because one event is he calms the storm. The other is he walks on water. So, would love to have any help you get. Okay. I will firm that up. I got to firm my schedule up today of who all I'm picking up at the airport. And I will post it as well in ReachCon Discord so that anybody else that's at the airport at the same time can get a ride along. So, all right. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. So we have God telling Moses there's going to be more. So Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh and told him, "This is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has said. How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Release my people so that they may serve me. But if, if you refuse to release my people, I'm going to bring locusts into your territory tomorrow. They will cover the surface of the earth so that you will be unable to see the ground. They will eat the remainder of what escaped, what is left over for you from the hail, and they will eat every tree that grows from the field." I think we got an ad coming in, so I'm going to pause there and we'll come back.
Content creators, gamers, and cosplayers. Last year, ReachConf was an absolute blast. An in-real-life celebration where creators connected, impactful speakers inspired, gaming tourneys, on-stage shenanigans, and fantastic music kept the energy high. It was more than an event. It was a community coming together. Get ready for ReachConf 2025, happening November 6 to 8. All the best parts of gaming and creative culture will be there, live and in person. Last year, we hit capacity. And even with increased numbers this year, tickets are sure to sell fast. Don't miss your chance to be part of the ultimate IRL experience. Grab your tickets now and join the movement.
Welcome to the final countdown to ReachConf 2025. You better be grabbing your tickets as soon as possible. For the gamers, the video game building has over 10 TV and console combination stations with Smash tourneys. VR folks are going to have a Beat Saber tourney. There's going to be PC and game demos, arcade machines that are all free to play, a retro arcade, and an optional bring your own computer PC LAN for the PC folks. For the tabletop gamers, there's going to be a 50-person mega Dungeons & Dragons one-shot. Lots of tabletop space for all of the board games, and there's going to be room for the trading card gamers. If you want to bring your Magic cards, bring your Pokemon cards, battle it out, let's go. We're calling all the cosplayers in the group also. There's going to be a 360-degree photo shoot, a daily team shoot, and daily winners. And beyond that, there's going to be awesome game shows that the audience can be called in to win real prizes, content creator training events, industry talks, and more. So make sure you get your tickets to ReachConf 2025 today.
All right. So ReachConf starting on Thursday. Yeah, those are real prizes. They're not fake at all. No, they're not. They are real prizes. There will be a computer being given away. I hope it goes to somebody that super needs it. If I win, I will put it to use or sell it to the nearest bidder. No, I'm just kidding. There's also a used car that will be given away. Yes, I mean, and so BT Dubs. So last year when I went to Reach Conference, I just said, hey, does anybody have a VR headset that they do not use and that I could use to figure out if VR is a thing for me or not? So I got a Vive 3 VR headset. So I used it for 2-3 months. Did some pulpit supply with VR MMO Church, and then decided, okay, this is good. And then with the TCD conference that we did in March, April, whatever it was, we were doing it in VR, and I was hosting, so I got a VR headset. I upgraded. I'm like, yeah, this is worth it to have it. Now, I haven't been using it as much since June, July, as I was earlier in the year. But since I upgraded, I have the Vive 3. I am bringing the Vive 3 to give away at Reach Conference to somebody who wants to explore doing VR ministry. So it's all boxed up. It's all ready to go. I'm bringing it along, and I'm going to give it away. Give it away. We're going to give it away at ReachCon. So I don't know who wants it. If you're at Reach Conference and you want to check out VR, you've thought about it, you don't know about investing the money in it. The Vive 3 is an older one, so you'll get to test it out. It will not be as good as the new ones, but hey, how do you pack up a car? Well, what I would probably do, actually what I could possibly do, would be to see if I could refund my flight home and drive home. Maybe. They should have a swap meet table for people to bring tech hand-me-downs. That would be cool. I think one of the things with that is, maybe I should post it in the Discord server that I'm planning on bringing that, and then suggest if anyone else has hand-me-downs that they'd like to give away, that they could do that. Anyway, back to our topic. So the description, when we had the hail earlier, that, what the world? Sorry, some big noise behind me. I don't know what it was. I don't see anything that fell on the ground, and I don't see anything wrong with the fish. Weird. All right. Felt like something crashed, although there was like a splash within it too. I don't know what it was. Okay. So we had a plague earlier where the hail came and destroyed the crops, but it said it did not destroy them all. It was only talking about the early crops because the other ones had not yet sprung up. So if you think about, if you have crops that are at different times when they're springing up from the ground, it's that first, like, for instance, if you had a hailstorm in mid-July, you could destroy all of the corn crop. You could knock all the corn crop down. But it wouldn't destroy the pumpkins because the pumpkins wouldn't really be, the vines would be there, but the pumpkins wouldn't be there. You could still have a pumpkin crop. So it's that same kind of thing. Yeah, go make your breakfast. Absolutely. Take care of yourself, friend. I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better too. We'll have to get you to Reach or Nerd Culture one of these times. Or we need to have something in Baltimore and Philly. That's what we need. I need a Baltimore event. I need a Philly event. I've got people in those ranges over there. You're not meant to be seen on camera or in real life. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about being able to be together. So, all right. They will fill your houses. This is a locust, remember. The houses of your servants and all the houses of Egypt, such as neither your fathers nor your grandfathers have seen, since they have been in the land until this day. Then Moses turned and went to Pharaoh. Baltimore's actually closer to you than Philly? Oh, I thought you were in Philly itself. Well, yeah, suburbs, I know how that can go. All right. So we need a Baltimore event. Pharaoh's servants said to him, "How long will this man be a menace to us?" Matt, good morning. A snare, the word used for a trap catching a bird. I get the impact of menace here, and it's not that it's a bad translation, but a menace does not, to me, think about something you could get trapped in. A snare, like, and I know that's not the way it's a trap, exactly. Exactly. I mean, just for that reason, I would go in that direction of say, well, how long will this man be a trap to us? So that you could say, it's a trap. Release the people so that they may serve the Lord their God. Do you know that do you not know that Egypt is destroyed? Okay, so I was saying it said that the servants, he was going to harden the servant's heart. This doesn't sound like the servants' hearts are being hardened. Oh, but wait, they are being hardened. They're being hardened against Pharaoh. Oh, thank you for the sub hype. Six-month sub, dude. That's, thank you. Appreciate that so much. Also, Matt, while you're here, I've got some stuff that Chino and I were talking about in regards to EDM and follow up with EDM graduates. So do not let me forget to include you in some conversation about that. My plan is to put together a short video and send that out. So if you don't see that from me, message me so I can make sure I didn't forget anybody. But I got some ideas of what we can do together. And I hope other people like it. Okay. So Pharaoh's servants are like, this dude is destroying the country. Like, just let them go. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh, and he said to them, go serve the Lord your God, exactly who is going with you. So, go serve the Lord your God. Exactly who's going with you? He's trying to appease his servants there. The question is literally, who are the ones going? Pharaoh's answer to Moses includes the rude question, which is intended to say that Pharaoh would control who went. The participle in the clause then refers to future journey. Okay. Moses said, we will go with our young and our old, with our sons and our daughters, and with our sheep and our cattle we will go, because we are to hold a pilgrimage feast to the Lord. So he has to call Moses back, say, go serve your God. Wait, who's going? So I don't know if you ever had this happen. Like, your parents are, when you were younger, or, you're trying to say, hey, I want to go to this concert. I know it's on a school night. And they're like, no, man, you ain't going. And whichever parent answers, and then the parents talk and go, yeah, man, maybe it's okay. They've been doing really good in school, and it's just one night, and it's a one-time thing. It's not going to set a precedent. And so say, hey, wait. Yeah, you can go. Oh, wait a minute. Who's going? Maybe you need to ask that first. And then they find out that Eddie Haskell's going like, no, man, no, sorry, no, change my mind. No, you definitely can't go. Eddie's going, you're not going. I wish I had a reference that was more recent than Eddie Haskell, but that's my go-to. I'm sorry, everybody. That Eddie Haskell, if you don't know Eddie Haskell, yeah, you probably can get the gist of who Eddie Haskell is by the fact I always reference him for the guy that no parent wants to let their kid hang out with. He said to them, the Lord will need to be with you if I release you and your dependents. Watch out! Trouble is right in front of you. No. Go you men only and serve the Lord, for that is what you want. So, men only. Then Moses and Aaron were driven out of Pharaoh's presence. So, no, only men. Only farmers. That's what my brain was trying to like. Is there a web or a dating site for only men? No, it's only farmers. That's what I was thinking. Oh, only men can go. Oh, your parents would let you go if it was a Christian concert? Yeah. Well, everyone's got different rules. That's why I was setting it on a school night. The Lord said to Moses, extend your right hand to the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up over the land of Egypt and eat everything that grows in the ground, everything that the hail has left. So Moses extended his staff over the land of Egypt, and then the land brought an east wind on the land all that day and all night. The morning came, and the east wind had brought the locusts. The locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and settled down in the territory of Egypt. It was very severe. There had been no locusts like them before, nor will there be such ever again. I love this. Like, don't overlook this, like in storytelling. Like, remember, you are to teach this to your children. You are telling your children that the worst thing that ever happened to the people of Egypt because they wouldn't let your people go. The worst thing that ever happened, there was never a locust plague like this. You've probably seen some locust plagues in your lifetime, but I've done nothing. Absolutely nothing. There will be nothing like it ever again. Welcome in, Gamer Night. They covered the surface of all of the ground so that the ground became dark with them. And they ate all the vegetation of the ground and all the fruit of the trees that the hail had left. Nothing green remained on the trees or on anything that grew in the fields throughout the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh quickly summoned Moses and Aaron and said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. So now forgive my sin this time only, and pray to the Lord your God that he would only take this death away from me. Interesting phrasing there. What do we have here for quickly? Could be translated, and he hastened. But there is a joined with the following infinitive. He hurried to summon, he summoned quickly. Okay. I have sinned. The severity of the plague prompted Pharaoh to confess his sin against Yahweh and them, now in much stronger terms than before. So he said he's done wrong before, but now he is being more emphatic. He also wants forgiveness. He doesn't just want the plague to go away, but in all probability, what he wants is relief from the consequence of sin. He's pretending to convey to Moses that this was it, that he was through sinning, so he asked for forgiveness only this time. Yeah, that is a weird phrase. I don't know if that caught anyone else's. Like, only this time. Forgive my sin only this time. Death is a metonymy that names the effect of the cause. Could you imagine how the locusts fell? We can't fight the heavy wind current. We were forced to be here. Oh, yeah, how they felt, yes. Yeah, well, on the other hand, they probably felt very satisfied after munching down on everything. Hey, look, we found a green area. This is nice. Hey, who was our Travel agent again, guys. Let's book that travel agent again. This is some fine land we found here. Yeah. Let's dig in, everybody. Let's dig in. We're gonna have to book another trip with this travel agent. It was very nice, very nice. I will have to say, Egypt off of the bucket list, and Garden of Eden. Where is that? Let's go, baby. All right. Again, we have the request of Pharaoh to have them pray on his behalf. Pharaoh is not interested in a relationship with their God. He is seeing the power of their God, and he is asking them to talk to their God. There is either a barrier of, I can't go to their God because I myself am a God, and he is not part of our God, so he is less powerful, and I can't do that. Or, it's just a whatever you got to do to appease them to get them to stop. Pre-pony, hello, hello. Moses went out from Pharaoh and prayed to the Lord, and the Lord turned a very strong west wind, and it picked up the locusts and blew them into the Red Sea. Not one of the locusts remained in all the territory of Egypt, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not release the Israelites. Okay, so we have a west wind, a sea wind, perhaps, off of the Mediterranean. Interesting. And then we have that is going to go to the Red Sea. If you've not seen this before, if you've not heard this, do not panic over this. This is what it would be translated in a more literal sense. It is rendered Reed Sea or Sea of Reeds. The word for is a collective noun that might derive from Egyptian name for papyrus, reeds. Many English versions read Red Sea, which translates the name from the ancient Greeks. So we are taking our name from Greek instead of Hebrew when we have the translation. It currently applied to the sea west of Arabia Peninsula. The northern fingers of this body of water extended along the west side of the Sinai Peninsula and are presently called the Gulf of Suez and the Gulf of Aqaba and the Gulf of Eilat. In ancient times, the name applied to the much larger body of water, including the Arabian Sea and the Persian Gulf. Okay, but here's the thing. We don't actually know which one it is or where it is. There are descriptors that try to help us find out, and there's people that assume where it is, and then there's debate. So, fun stuff. But again, the result is Pharaoh's heart is hardened this time. As Pharaoh, look, okay, so look what Pharaoh does. Pharaoh says all of the things of I have sinned, go pray on my behalf. The answer of God is to harden Pharaoh's heart, not to forgive him. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? That it appears that Pharaoh is just trying to save his own skin. He does not mean a word that he is asking for. Go pray to your God. No, you can't go. Only men can go. Your women and children need to stay. Why? Then you'll come back. And then, I've sinned. The response of God demonstrate that Pharaoh's heart was not asking for forgiveness. It was asking for relief. And how do I get out of this? So, Gamer, I find it interesting when it changes from Pharaoh hardening his heart to the Lord hardening Pharaoh's heart. Yeah, and there is a duplication of it. There are, if you go through the plagues, one plague, Pharaoh will do it. The next plague, God will do it. And before this plague, God said he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart. Then Pharaoh responds, and he responds in bad faith, and then God hardens his heart. But this is also the thing that Pharaoh already desires. So God is giving him over to the thing he already is doing himself. So don't neglect to see that Pharaoh is already actively hardening his own heart, and God is multiplying and giving him more of what he is already doing. The Lord said to Moses, extend your hand toward heaven so that there may be darkness over the land, a darkness so thick it can be felt. Okay, this sounds like it's the next day. Okay, it sounds like it's the next day. In some of the early plagues, we had a little bit of a wording of a gap between things that, hey, there was a week later or whatever. We do not know. And since we had the early crops destroyed and now we have the late crops destroyed, we know that there is a period that this has been months. It's been months that this has been ongoing. One way to perhaps think about this in a logical time frame would be, what if every time the new month started is when Moses came in to request of Pharaoh? What if it was every time the new month started, we would have 10 months of plagues or 9 months of plagues as a possibility? Matt, you never thought about that? Yeah. Yeah, and that's like one other place where that is that idea is solidified in certain thinking. Like it happens several people in the Old Testament, but in Romans, and maybe you've never heard this, but think about Romans as a commentary on the Old Testament. Romans is a commentary on the Old Testament. So it's a commentary. Paul is commenting on what God did in the Old Testament. So that makes it a commentary. Now, he's not specifically quoting verses the way that we would do a commentary on a specific book. He's taking the whole of the Old Testament and writing a commentary on it to summarize it for non-Jews who would know some of it, but not all of it. Because he's writing to Rome, so the Roman church is going to be primarily Greeks within there. And he's never been there. But he talks about that God giving them over to a depraved mind to do those things that ought not be done. They're already doing those things, and God giving you over to do those things that you already want to go and do. I don't know if you ever had this, but we just had Halloween, and maybe your parents, like, you beg them always to have more candy, have more candy, have more candy, and you're tired of telling your kid, yeah, you're going to get sick to your stomach if you eat all that candy. And you finally say, fine, eat it all. And what happens? They eat it all and they feel sick. So it's if you're going to have to learn the hard way, I will let you learn the hard way. I'm tired of fighting you on the wisdom that I have that you don't want. So go ahead and go eat all your candy and get sick. And don't come crying to me when you get sick. I will have no sympathy or empathy for you. Fedorable Will, you're in Orlando already, my friend. I will see you tomorrow. I leave at my first flight is 6 a.m. I will get in around 1 p.m. So if you ever, use points to book a flight so that it's free, this might happen to you. I have like a 4-hour layover. A 4-hour layover. So that's a bit annoying. So, yes, natural consequences. So, yeah, God gives you over to the thing you desire to have so much of it that you will realize it's no good. All right, we got ad break.
He's got that flat cap dapper look, making waves online, spreading the word on Twitch. Pastor with a cheerful heart, no lie, preaching joy so high to the sky. He'll be right back, yes, he'll be right back. He'll be back in 2 or 3. Flat cat dapper, flat cat dapper. We'll be right back. Right back after this break, no mistake, joy they make. I'll be right back, yeah. We'll be right back in 2 or 3. 1, 2, or 3.
All right. Yeah, I guess so. I'm gonna see if I can't still try to change that so it's shorter. But I think like when I went to go look, it was telling me I needed to spend a whole bunch more points to switch flights, and I was like, yeah, I think they're just sticking me with certain flights for the point redeem. So yeah, the extra long layover. But I do have the Sky Lounge access, which if you've never been in a Sky Lounge, the food is included, certain drinks are included, and you get to hang out in there, and it's much more quiet and calm than out. And also, you really feel like you can walk away from your bag and not have to tote your bag around everywhere, and eat at a table very nice and easily. You can plug in your computer and other electronics to charge, and it's really nice. Now, I also happen to have a meeting tomorrow that'll happen in the Sky Lounge, so I got to remember that too. But we'll see. I'm excited, and I'm glad you're there already, buddy. And I heard you're doing. You got to figure out your internet and see if you're able to do your event tonight. Hopefully that all turns out. All right. So on to the ninth plague. Not to jump too far ahead, but now in the New Testament church, some believe God does not operate like that anymore because of Jesus, but I think he can, depending on what it is when reaping and sowing. Like you said, if you keep eating candy, then you'll probably get sick. The difference might be grace and mercy, which may not last or have permanent consequences. Well, I don't see the one of the depends on what your theological background is, and if you see a sharp division between Old and New Testament, or if you see New Testament as continuation of the Old Testament. I see New Testament as continuation of the Old Testament, in a more personal, revealed sense that God came himself in the flesh, so it's more personal and more revealed of his nature and things. But God giving people over to what they want is the way I want to characterize it in the Old Testament. Most people that say it doesn't continue in the New Testament from the way it was in the Old Testament view God of the Old Testament as a vengeful God sitting up in the sky waiting for someone to do wrong so they can smite him. I don't have that view of the God of the Old Testament. And one of the reasons is God waited 400 years to deal with Pharaoh and Egypt. And God let those 400 years go by before he dealt with Canaan and all of the Canaanites. So while some people look at all of the destruction, the plagues, and the conquering and the conquest as God just smiting people, I don't see it that way. I see God as very, 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 very patient, waiting, and then acting at some point when enough is enough. That's what I see. And even with the people of God, the Hebrews, the northern tribe, does so much sinning, it's finally been enough, and they're taken away to captivity. And the southern kingdom finally does enough sinning that they're conquered and taken away. So there's always this buildup of things and then consequences. And so I still see that the same continuity in the New Testament. I don't know if that's making sense, Matt, or not. All right. So the Lord said to Moses, and again, they read like this is the next day, but we do not know the timing of any of these. Extend your hand towards heaven so that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, in darkness so thick it can be felt. Like that is a interesting, The Hebrew term mush means to feel. The literal rendering would be so that one may feel darkness. The image portrays an oppressive darkness. it was sufficient thick to possess the appearance of substance, although it is just air. If you've ever been in a cave, like if you ever go down deep in a cave, the darkness that you can feel in the cave and the uncertainty of where anything is to be able to move about, that your eyes just cannot adjust. There is no light whatsoever to be able to see anything. Like outdoors, there's still that little bit of light, even if you go to a dark zone that doesn't have ambient modern lights and light pollution. You'd have to blot out the sky. You'd have to have the moon not be around. Like it's not going to be 100% darkness as opposed to cave darkness. I mean, that feels like you feel like you are if you've never been in a cave that's super dark like that, you feel like you're wrapped in a blanket and you do not dare move because of just fear of what will happen and what's there. Even if you saw it, like the fear of maybe your judgment of where you are and the direction you're going is the wrong one and you don't want to stumble and fall. So I can get an idea of what that was. So Moses extended his hand toward heaven, and there was absolute darkness throughout the land of Egypt for 3 days. The darkness was no doubt considered really by the, no doubt occasionally, sorry. The darkness was no doubt occasioned really by the sandstorm produced by the hot electrical wind, which blows intermittently. This is another application of the anti-supernatural approach to the text. The text, however, is probably describing something that was not a seasonal wind, or Pharaoh would not have been intimidated. Exactly. If it coincided with that season, then what is described here is so different and so powerful that Egyptians would have known the difference easily. Pharaoh here would have had to have been impressed that this was something very abnormal and that his God was powerless. Besides, there was light in all the dwellings of the Israelites. Man, it makes sense. You're rediscovering and challenging your theology, so that is why you ask. I enjoy your perspective because they make me think and look at things in a way you may not have due to your theological background. And I do not want to attack anybody's theological background. I'm like for instance, if we just take what does Jesus work on the cross? There are probably a dozen different ways of describing what Jesus' work on the cross does. Christus Victor, substitutionary atonement, penal substitutionary atonement. There's a whole bunch of them. They have technical terms and it doesn't matter. And some people reject some and some people embrace others. And my thought is there is something true in every single one of them. Why would I reject them? There probably is between all of them a greater truth that explains the fullness of Christ that I can't in my finite mind comprehend. And different times in history, culturally, we needed different ones of those to help us make make sense of what God through Christ has done for us. And so, yeah, I do not want to tear anyone's theology down. I am fine with having you wrestle with your theology. I think that's a good thing because what you find at the end of it is you are stronger in understanding what you believe and why you believe it. And as long as you hold to the firm to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself, and that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through him, that is the only thing that I think is important, fundamental, and essential. Now, there's a lot of other stuff that I want to say, yeah, and I also am going to go in this direction, but I give grace to people who disagree beyond those three areas. So, and I also am constantly listening to people that challenge my thinking, and I don't mean challenge in the sense of tearing it down, but challenge in the sense of, have you thought about this? What about this thing? What about this nuance over here? And I would say I probably attain a 1-to-1 ratio of the amount of time I spend reading the Word is equal with the amount of time I engage other people's engagement of the word and theology. So I find that a good balance for me where I am right now. So, bum, bum, bum. So Moses extended his hand toward heaven. There was absolute darkness for 3 days. Interesting, 3 days. Let's go see how often 3 days shows up. What is the first time that 3 days shows up? Come on, stop it, stop it. Oh, I'm in... I mean, I know several of the references. I don't know where the first one is. That's what I want to find. 3 days later is when Laban discovered Jacob was gone. In 3 days, when they were still in pain, 2 of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Dinah's brother, took the sword. Ooh, I did not realize or remember that this atrocity that was perpetrated against the town by Simeon and Levi was 3 days after they had them circumcised. But this is probably it. This is probably a reference we're supposed to be thinking of Joseph. We're probably supposed to be thinking of Joseph. Welcome back. I'm watching you people. So 3 days is in 3 days you will be restored to Pharaoh. So they were imprisoned for 3 days, and then they were restored. There's also, that's right, he's also been asking for a 3 days journey. So the 3 days may actually be both of thinking of the restoration of the baker after 3 days times, the execution of the wine steward after 3 days. Pharaoh, which choice are you going to have? Are you going to have the execution or are you going to have the restoration? Which one? You got 3 days, buddy. Also, connection to the 3 days journey into the desert. We're supposed to go 3 days into the desert. We could have went during this time and escaped. How would you have stopped us? How would you have stopped us? I wouldn't want to be alone and be in a cave, but Elijah was in a cave alone to hide to Israelites. Well, he also is in a cave hiding, I think, because he has had a mental health crisis. I think he's legitimately in a mental health crisis. So, yeah, caves, darkness scare you. I agree. I wouldn't want to go hide in a cave. But he just wants to curl up, like he already did say, he curled up in a ball under a tree and wished he was dead before he went to the cave. So now nobody should be able to find him in the cave. Yeah, Matt, it helps you figure out why and what you believe. And sometimes it expands our thinking about Scripture and connections, like what you do with OT to New T when applicable. I have learned new things, and more importantly, how I look at Scripture in context and culture. So I appreciate what you. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. And I can't, you don't have time to do this in a sermon, and I think this is so much better than just a sermon because you get to engage me in the process of this. Like this will be what I. And maybe, who knows? Maybe sometime I'll do this where I will do it live and have people on here and we just have the conversation while I'm reading through and then we engage it and we move forward. That would be cool. Maybe we could do that sometime, or maybe I'll do that in Discord. I don't know. I've had those thoughts and it's just, I don't know. Like changing and experimenting. Oh, maybe I should listen to my talk I'm going to be giving at Reach. Those who don't know, I will be doing a talk at Reach. Just a teaser here. Just a teaser. This is the acronym. This is a weird acronym, maybe, but maybe not a weird acronym. So, how do you become a better streamer? You follow the acronym DAPPER. You follow the acronym DAPPER. I'll share it with you after the con so that I don't spoil it for anybody going to the con. But my talk is essentially how to become a dapper streamer. because I like having fun and making things tongue-in-cheek. Like, I could have made it 3 things or 4 things, but I decided to use dapper as the word to, this is what you do. Yeah, you want to be a dapper streamer? Just put a hat on, it's over. Honestly, that's it. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, not Nick Cage. Oh, you know what I did not do? I did not start my music today. So somebody tell me I didn't start my music in the background. I just realized that. I mean, I had it ready to go. I didn't want to overlap at the beginning, and then I forgot to push play. All right. So, 3 days of darkness. This is the thing, like, get caught up on something like this and just spend time dwelling on it. Like, we do not need to move forward. If you just wanted to dwell on 3 days of darkness, okay, so that's 3 days journey. They could have went into the desert. They could have escaped in the darkness. They could have went and did this, and Pharaoh would have been none the wiser because he could not have, well, maybe the lights of the candles and lamps would have been able to see, but maybe it was so thick that you couldn't. Don't know. But, like, if you get caught on something, just stay there. Dwell on it. Don't move forward. Dwell on it. Think about it. Then go to the resurrection in 3 days in the tomb. 3 days for Jonah, the sign of Jonah. Like 3 is suddenly a prominent thing when you start to think about it. I'm watching you people. So that psalm that says his mercy endures forever, over and over, you think it was a call to worship with the speaker said it one time and then the crowd said the next, or did they all repeat it at the same time? I'll give you one other thought. I think it could also be something that could have been sung like row, row, row your boat. So if you have the 12 tribes and you sing it in the round, and you have one tribe start with his mercy endures forever and ever, and then the next one goes, his mercy endures forever and ever, his mercy endures forever, and you echo this as you go along through the 12 tribes. I think that's a beautiful thought, but I don't know. I mean, there could have been 20 different ways to sing the song, depending on who was leading worship. I guess we were enjoying your reading and debating. Yeah, and I think we should. Yeah, Matt, you grew up very close-minded theology, so in the last 5 to 7 years, you have found it so freeing to listen and learn from others with whom I may not agree on all things theology. It helps me like iron sharpening iron, and that's what I believe it does. Anyway, I won't keep this going. Just wanted to highlight it. Does the 3-day darkness have a correlation with the resurrection after 3 days? Yeah, I think there is. Christopher, welcome in. I think there is too, but we can't look backwards from a sense of the 3 days of putting emphasis on the resurrection here. We can look forward, though, from here to the resurrection, if that makes sense. So, the 3 days is established as 3 days to go out into the desert to worship. 3 days of darkness, the plague of darkness. There is a 3 hours of darkness over the land at the crucifixion of Jesus. There is 3 hours of darkness, a replay of the 3 days of darkness, if you will, and the resurrection happening at the end of the 3 days. So going forward from here, we can see it into the New Testament. I don't think we should, in this case, automatically bring Jesus' resurrection after 3 days fully into the past. I think we read it going forward, this one. Some things we can go both ways. The resurrection, I think, is one. I don't know if it fully fits here unless this was the last plague, if that makes sense. Because there is a baptism in the Red Sea and a rebirth as a new nation, and that motif that we will get later. So being baptized in the Red Sea and coming out, and there's other scriptures that recognize that later, looking back at what happened. We won't see that in the text here. So that's what I'm saying is you can look back and see it. Sometimes you can't always read the This is just my thought. Don't go looking for the Old Testament, and every time you see someone say, that's Jesus that showed up before he was born. You are negating the original audience and the writer to the original audience when you just say Jesus is in there. So that's my caution. That's my caution. Okay. No one could see another person, and no one could rise from his place for 3 days, but the Israelites had light in the place where they lived. So, like, this is straight up, like, what's going on, and no one could see another person. Now, could they not light lights and see? It doesn't say. The implication sounds like a no. A no. How did I miss there? Oh, Lucis, are you ready for 12 hours of chaos? Okay, that's what I missed. Always. Yeah. But you weren't expecting to actually be up. Oh, gotcha. And a spot of tea. We're doing Earl Grey all day, baby. Earl Grey all day today. Spot of tea. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Tiny dance break, just because. All good. This might be a stupid question, but spending eternity with Jesus means what? I mean, do you ever sleep, or do you wander around like a zombie? I'm curious as to what you'll be doing. Would you eat? Would you find a new partner? Would you meet your brothers who didn't get to live long here on Earth? Christopher, I don't have a 100% answer to that. But my thinking is, if we go back to creation and how God created us, then we take that and we look at the resurrected body of Jesus. So we do eat in creation, and we are created to eat, and Jesus does eat in his resurrected body. However, in his resurrected body, he has some different attributes to be able to morph in and teleport out. I don't know what word to use for that, but he's able to appear and disappear in front of other people. So he does have physical presence. He does have the ability to eat. I think that's what we will have. Jesus talks about not given to marriage, but I think that's a reference to procreation, and there'll be no need for children to be created because there will be no more of that. And then there definitely is some stuff in Revelation that we can look at. There's plenty of passages, but a full view of what heaven is going to be like, I think it's going to be a personification of what the Garden of Eden was supposed to look like, where we still are going to work, we still are going to eat, we still are going to oversee creation. That's my thoughts on it. I know it's a short answer, but we got ads coming in.
Countdown to ReachConf 2025. You better be grabbing your tickets as soon as possible. For the gamers, the video game building has over 10 TV and console combination stations with Smash tourneys. VR folks are going to have a Beat Saber tourney. There's going to be PC and game demos, arcade machines that are all free to play, a retro arcade, and an optional bring your own computer PC LAN for the PC folks. For the tabletop gamers, there's going to be a 50-person mega Dungeons & Dragons one-shot. Lots of tabletop space for all of the board games, and there's going to be room for the trading card gamers. If you want to bring
maybe
your
it's just
Magic
me, but
cards,
the bring your own
Pokemon
PC
cards,
is kind of
battle it out.
fun.
Let's
Sounds
go.
kind of fun.
We're calling all the
But also,
cosplayers in the group.
I'm flying.
Also, there's going to be a
unless it was a
360-degree
gaming
photo shoot,
PC,
a daily
a
team
laptop,
shoot, and daily winners.
not
Beyond
bringing
that,
it.
there's going to be awesome game shows that the audience can be called in to win real prizes, content creator training events, industry talks, and more. So make sure you get your tickets to ReachConf 2025 today.
Attention streamers, content creators, gamers, and cosplayers. Last year, ReachConf was an absolute blast. An in-real-life celebration where creators connected, impactful speakers inspired, gaming tourneys, on-stage shenanigans, and fantastic music kept the energy high. It was more than an event. It was a community coming together. Get ready for ReachConf 2025, happening November 6 to 8. All the best parts of gaming and creative culture will be there, live and in person. Last year, we hit capacity, and even with increased numbers this year, tickets are sure to sell fast. Don't miss your chance to be part of the ultimate IRL experience. Grab your tickets now and join the movement.
Oh, Christopher, so you were really wondering what PC is? Okay, so PC is personal computer. So when computers moved out of it being a full room to be able to do stuff, and you could get one at home or a business, they called them PCs, personal computer. So that's what it means. Bring your own PC is personal computer, not political correctness. Like, bring your own political correctness. Well, my political correctness is the Green Party. So my political correctness, mine is the taxpayer party. So my political correctness, problematic civilizations. Yes. Bring your own Polycarp. And if you don't know who Polycarp is, he's a church father. So, church father nerds unite. Okay, back to our story. Great convos, by the way. I'm looking at how much we've got done and going, how have we had all these great convos and we've got this much done? This has been great today. Loving it. This is what makes me really struggle with why won't I bring my PC and try to stream? And it's like, because I'll have to be at the con or headed to the con before 9 a.m. and I just won't have time to stream. So I will try some phone streams. That's what I think I'll do, but I'll have to figure that out. So they'll be impromptu, no scheduling, just gonna happen. All right. So there's light where the Israelites live. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and said, "Go serve the Lord. Only your flocks and herds will be detained. Even your families may go with you." So he's upgraded. Like, only men can go. You can go now, but your family can go, but you cannot take your stuff. You can go out empty-handed. You can't go with your stuff. But Moses said, "Will you also provide us with sacrifices and burnt offerings that we may present them to the Lord our God? Our livestock must go with us." Like, how are we going to make a sacrifice if we can't bring livestock? This is where, like, I'm watching you people. You and I have this same kind of thing with our brains does this. I want to go, "Hello, McFly, hello. Hello, like, we're going to go, what do you expect us to sacrifice if we don't bring our livestock? You think we're going to sacrifice our children? We're not Canaanites here. Come on, man. Our livestock must go along with us. Not a hoof is to be left behind. For we must take these animals to serve the Lord our God until we arrive there. We do not know what we must use to serve the Lord." So we don't know how much. What if we don't bring enough? What if God wants all of it? We got to sacrifice all of it. We got to bring it all. I love Moses' logic here. It's so good. So good. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he was not willing to release them. Pharaoh said to him, "Go from me. Watch out for yourself. Do not appear before me again. For when you see my face, you will die." Moses said, "As you wish. I will not see your face again." Hope somebody got the reference there. So the construct of Beomer Otecha is an adverbial clause of time made up of the prepositional phrase, the infinitive construct, and the suffixed subjective genitive. In the day of your seeing, or when you see. Did you not hear my answer? Or are you talking about the other day? Did I not fully answer your question? Okay, yeah. I'll go back and I'll go back and look at Discord. Sorry, Christopher. I thought I had answered that. I see I did not. But if, as far as what are we going to do in heaven, I thought I answered that. Maybe you wanted more, but I have a really small answer. Goes back to creation, and Adam and Eve were created to oversee all of creation, to fill the earth and be stewards of the earth. And they ate, and that's what I think we're going to do in eternity. That's what God created us to do. That's, I think, what we will do. Also thinking about the fact that Jesus ate, but he had a body that could, in some ways, teleport. I don't know a better way to describe it. Phase in and out, whatever you will. That we'll have that ability to potentially too. So, but the given to, well, and we'll see our brothers and people we know. Absolutely, I think we will. And then as far as procreation, I do not think, based on what Jesus said, that they will never be given to marriage, but they will be like angels. I think that's a reference to there is no need for all angels. The understanding is we're created at the same time. There are no new angels. All angels were created at the same time. That's if the amount of angels that there are. So in eternity, there will be no more people being created. That's what I think he's referring to as we will be like the angels. So I'm watching The Lord Hardened Pharaoh's Heart. Imagine the cholesterol involved in that. That could be a modern way of thinking about it. However, the Egyptians, when you went to the afterlife, you would have your heart weighed on a scale, and it needed to be as light as a feather. So if Pharaoh's heart is being hardened, the message to any Egyptian who is reading this is he will weigh too much in the afterlife. He will not be let into the place that he needs to go to. We are all in danger here of not having our Pharaoh, our God, be weighed and have a light as a feather heart. So he is, and I don't remember all of the whole destruction level of what they have in the afterlife. I don't remember all of it, but I do remember that aspect of the weight. If he weighs the same as a feather, hey, thank you for the biddies. Did they have a Sinai hospital? That's funny. A Sinai, yes, because there is a Sinai hospital to fix his hard heart. That would have been a good thing. Second witness. I guess we will have to find out ourselves at the end of time, because I don't think the Bible has answers for all that, but Jesus says we will be like the angels in the afterlife. Yeah, and I think that part of that, like I was saying, be like angels. You mean like Gabriel? Well, Gabriel is one of the angels. And I think that is in the sense of not procreating and having more of a spiritual ability to travel spiritually and not just have physical presence, if that makes sense, which is what I see with Jesus teleporting and that stuff. So, yeah, mine is probably on a smaller scale, but you do have a slight arrhythmia. It's something your doctors keep an eye on in the basic sense, but they have never considered it life-threatening unless other things exacerbate it. I hope yours is regulated and it doesn't affect your life greatly. Oh, I missed that. Yeah, I have a heart problem, so I know what it's like. It's not really a hard person to be with, though. Oh, you're not really, yeah. I also do. Wow, that's interesting. I also have a heart murmur. So, yeah, I'm glad we don't need money anymore. Yeah, we don't need money to get into the afterlife. We have Jesus. Mine is one of those also. Yeah, maybe someday it will cause problems. Right now, it doesn't cause problems. So, okay. So we have the, you will not see my face, you will die. The Lord said to Moses, I will bring one more plague on Pharaoh and on Egypt. After that, he will release you from this place. When he releases you, he will drive you out completely from this place. Instruct the people that each man and each woman is to request from his or her neighbor items of silver and gold. Okay. So let me just ask this question. You have an arrhythmia due to the left ventricle on the nod not working properly. Got a pacemaker for it. That might explain why your pace sucks. Yeah, I do not. Like, mine is just a murmur, which is like the valves don't close properly. And so there is always an ability for blood to be flowing through it. So a pacemaker would not solve that problem. It's one of those things. If those valves become more leaky, I could have problems. Second witness. Good suggestion on a passage there. Heart valve. Why would valves be gold? I've never heard of valves that are gold. An in-depth breakdown of Psalm 91 for a week. I don't know. Oh, valves equal vault? No. Valves, like, okay, so on a faucet, to get the flow of water to come out, that's a valve. Okay? It is something that restricts the flow of a liquid. You have a valve that shuts off the flow, or you open the valve. So in your heart, you have a valve that opens and closes to shut off the, yeah. So language problem there. Yeah, valves does not equal vault. No. So glad for, see, this is what I love. Like, so by the way, I am going to be writing, and I have a buddy of mine who's going to write this with me, a blog post talking about written communication and how we can misunderstand each other. And here was just one of those examples, Christopher, of when I was saying valves and you didn't comprehend what I was talking about with valves, and I thought it was easily understood. And when I said PC earlier, you didn't understand it because you don't grow up in the same context I do, and your understanding of English doesn't fully match my use of English that I'm familiar with. So, dude, I love this. I love this, and I love your willingness to ask questions instead of just be confused. Yeah, like a switch. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So it switches on and off, open and closed, open and closed. Okay. But what I was saying here, instruct the people that each man and each woman is to request from his or her neighbor items of silver and gold. We're not asking for bronze, baby. We're not asking for copper. You got any silver and gold? Hey, we're leaving Egypt, and we're looking for parting gifts. Hey, BT Dubs, would you like to give us some silver and gold as we depart? It'll be very pleasing to our God if you give us some silver and gold. It'll be good for me, too. I'm willing to take that silver and gold off your hands just to leave so that there are no more plagues in Egypt. Would you like to send anything along with me? I don't know if that's how it went down, but interesting thought here. Also want to say, if there's only one plague and you go to your neighbors, is your neighbor likely to give you stuff? If there's 2 plagues, is your neighbor likely to give you stuff? After 5 plagues, maybe likely to give you some silver. After 10 plagues, take whatever you want and go. Please just leave. So interesting setup here. The people endure through this time in order to receive, and I know this is a funny way to say it, but I love saying it, they get parting gifts as they leave. You've been in slavery for 400 years. Not only do you get your freedom, but you get parting gifts. Also, we'll see this is a standard of when you set people free from slavery later on, that you do give them stuff. Or if you set and release a woman, that you give her also compensation. So you do not set someone free from a relationship without compensation. So there we go. Christopher, or I rarely use this term. I know them. But I prefer just to use alternative name. PC equals machine for dummies. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that would, well, see, and I would call what I'm streaming on my gaming PC. That would it would be my gaming PC. But I could just say gaming computer too. So a GC? I don't know if I've ever heard anyone call it a GC. Anyway. So they're going to get parting gifts. I just find that so fascinating. I don't know why. I don't know. It's cool. Now the Lord granted the people favor with the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, respected by Pharaoh's servants and by the Egyptian people. So does that mean that the people or Pharaoh's servants gave Moses parting gifts? Is that what we're to understand here? So the people are granted favor. Moreover, Moses is. So did Moses get wealth from Pharaoh's servants? Are they going, dude, I know Pharaoh's, not with it right now. He's being a little bit self-centered and self-righteous, and I hope he comes around, but man, please leave. Let me give you some stuff, man. Just take it and go. I'll cover for you. Just get out of here. Did Moses receive? Is that what they're saying? Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land, respected by Pharaoh's servants and by the Egyptian people. Well, they found favor with the Egyptians. It says this in response to going to your neighbors and asking for items. Does Moses go? Oh my goodness, what a stroke of boldness. Does Moses go because, hey, God said go ask? He goes to the leaders, the servants of Pharaoh, and says, hey, my God said to ask for silver and gold. What you got? What you got? What you gonna send me away with? And he had great respect for him, and so he received stuff from them. I don't know. That's what it kind of reads to me. Moses said, this is what the Lord has said. About midnight I will go throughout Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. From the firstborn son of Pharaoh who sits on his throne to the firstborn son of the slave girl who is at her hand mill, and all the firstborn of the cattle. Okay, wait. So we have firstborn of the cattle. The cattle already died in a previous plague, right? The cattle already died in a previous plague. So, and I think this is just generic term for all livestock, all animals that you have left. So anything that has endured. Perhaps the Egyptians have purchased new animals since the time that the cattle were crushed. So all the firstborn. It's going to be an interesting thing. I'm not a farmer. Would you be able to, depending upon the size of your herd, know the firstborn? I don't know. Did they mark them off? Or is this just symbolic language? I think it's, on some level, symbolic language of nothing is going to escape. Whatever is the firstborn. which will later be part of what we do for sacrifices, which Moses said, we don't know what we do for sacrifices. So here we are going to exact the sacrifice upon the people by the firstborn dying. Now remember, later when the firstborn son is to be consecrated to God, you do a lamb in place of the firstborn. Let's see what happens here. There will be great cry throughout the whole land of Egypt, such as there has never been, nor will there be again. So there wasn't even as great a cry in the land of Egypt when all of the children, all of the males born were killed. Why would that be? Because this is in Egypt, not in Goshen where the people are. So that could be one reference to it. Or this is a cry all at once. The other was a continuous slow drip cry that kept going on and on and on and on and on every time there was a birth. So not as many in one day. That could be what we're talking about, relative comparison there. Of the cacophony. Yes, that's a great word. The cacophony, the symphony of voices crying out in anguish over the dead of their firstborn. But against any of the Israelites, not even a dog will bark against either people or animals, so that they may know that the Lord distinguishes between Egypt and Israel. Even a dog will growl, not a dog will sharpen his tongue. Ooh, I like that. Not a dog will sharpen his tongue. The expression is unusual, but it must indicate that not only would no harm come to the Israelites, but that no unfriendly threat would come against them either, not even so much as a dog barking. It is possible that is related to watchdogs. And I'm thinking howl. Like a dog howling, you know, like if you've ever seen or heard a dog when there is something dead, it will howl over the animal that's dead. Like if you use hunting dogs, when they find them, well, they like if they find them alive, they usually are barking at them. You know, if they tree an animal or they're chasing, they bark. But usually when the animal is dead, from my understanding and what I've seen, is they will howl over the dead. Now that could be a howl of another dead dog and they howl over it in anguish, or it's a success howl of we have defeated it. I think that's what we should be thinking here, of the howling over the dead. It could just be barking. No, I'm fine with it. I'm just playing with the idea. All these your servants will come down to me and bow down to me, saying, go you and all the people who follow you, and after that I will go out. Then Moses went out from Pharaoh in great anger. Okay, when is he before him? Okay, remember we had... Do not appear before me again, for when I see your face, you will die. Moses said, as you wish. I will not see your face again. Now we have the instruction of God here, and we have the instruction given to Pharaoh. Then Moses went out from Pharaoh in great anger. Is this still in the same setting? As this happened before he left, and he said all these things, and then he left? I think that's how we're to read that. He said all these things before he leaves. So God confronts him after he says, as you wish. It says, hey, wait, one more thing to say to Pharaoh. We got ads coming in. Let me just read one more thing. The Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh will not listen to you, so that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. So Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not release Israel from the land. That is a short chapter, for sure. Oh, you know what we haven't done? Let's go look at the fish today. Let's look at fishies this time, everybody.
Black cat past her ox's tween, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with sax in hand, plays tunes by his quiet land. acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flatcat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in ponds so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flatcap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flatcat Pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may.
All right, we're back. So, man, there's so many guppies in there. Wywis is making a good show for himself. Pond has got a bunch of leaves down. And the lake, the gales of November. They coming. The gales of November, baby. Gales of November. That would be a good name for a band. Gales of November. Which is a song, by the way, or in a song, by the way. If you do not know the wreck of the Eddie Fitzgerald, Eddie, we call it Eddie Fitz. Edmund Fitzgerald, Eddie Fitz. Where have you been? Where have you been? I know a lot of people won't know it, but it's a great song. It's a great song. All right. So we have the plague has been given, but this one is different than the others. We're going to have an interruption in the narrative here of the plague, 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 to be able to talk about what the people are to do in preparation for this plague. They had to do nothing in preparation for the other plagues. God simply looked over them and left them out of many of the plagues. Now, some hit them, some didn't, but they just overlooked them and didn't need to do anything. So, that's why you were asking. I see what you're doing there, Looses. All right, bum bum bum. So we're gonna have a different thing. I don't understand why you get so excited. I really don't. I'm watching. I mean, I don't know. It's the kind. Oh. You want excitement? You want excitement? It's still in the cellophane. I just got this. It's still in the cellophane. There we go. I had some points that were going to expire, and so I decided I will pick up the next Assassin's Creed I have not played. So when I'm done with Valhalla, I can switch over and play that. And it was $5 after all the points that I had. So I spent $5 for that game, which I think is a cool thing. Zack Attack, you do have fantastic. Thank you, friend. I've always enjoyed my hair. Well, it's winter. I had to cut my hair. Since he won't be streaming for who knows, we got to catch him now. Thank you. Yeah, great deal. Well, yeah, like I said, yeah, I had So this is one of the weird things. So I have a Best Buy card, and you go, Best Buy? Yeah, well, I bought all my appliances with the card, and so I got points from that, and then I used them. But they will send me a thing, and it hasn't been the last 6 months, but previously it was, if you use your Best Buy card to pay your utilities, we will give you 5% back. Like, why would I not use the card to gain 5%? So that's what I did. So that's points that were going to expire from paying for my electricity, my gas, and I think the internet. I think the internet's on there as well. So paying for my bills bought me a game. That's what that was. All right, so it'll be a while before we play that game because I'm not finished with Valhalla. So we'll have to finish Valhalla first, and then we'll switch to that. So it'll stay in the cellophane. I'm not, like, it'll stay in the cellophane, and I'll announce when we're going to play. It'll be a while. Maybe next year. Maybe I can finish Valhalla by the end of the year. In 2-hour stints? Not likely. All right, let's get back to some Bible. That was a rabbit there. That was a rabbit there. Okay. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, this month is to be your beginning of months. It will be the first month of the year. Tell the whole community of Israel on the 10th day of this month that each must take a lamb for themselves according to their families, a lamb for each household. Yeah, Valhalla is a huge game from what it is. It is a huge game. And a lot of side quests that I had done for a long time. I'm no longer trying to do a lot of side quests. I'm just trying to do the main quest and see if I can finish that. Stop rushing? Oh, the bot. I'm like, what? I'm not rushing. The bot is. Okay. Okay. So here's why I was mentioning perhaps. So we had plagues that were happening that were related to when crops were growing, right? And now we know exactly which month we are. We are in the first month of the year, which is April, May. So if we think about April, May, and starting there, we may have gone. First fruits would be 40 days from Passover. So if it's 40 days from Passover is when first fruits is, and the crop would have been up, and the crop would have been destroyed for that plague, you know, we could be a full year of plagues. Could be a full year of plagues that have been going on. Just to kind of set your mind to that. Okay. Then tell the whole community of Israel on the 10th day of this month that each must take a lamb for themselves according to their families. A lamb for each household. If any household is too small for a lamb, the man and his next door neighbor are to take a lamb according to the number of people. You will make your count for the lamb according to how much each one can eat. So, how much can you eat? Well, I can eat 2 hind legs. So, and you can eat 2 front legs, and Bob can eat all of the chops. So you divvy it up. You divvy it up, and you figure out how much everyone can eat. Why? Because we want to have only the amount that will be consumed. Okay? Your lamb must be perfect, a male 1 year old. You may take it from the sheep or the goat. So remember this. It can be a sheep or a goat. So a lamb is just a young of the animal. You would love to taste some lamb ribs. Let me put it this way. I've had lamb a few times. And a few times I've had it, I was like, oh my goodness. This, like the first time I had it, I think my wife and I had a Valentine's Day special. Rack of lamb. It was amazing. I go, oh my goodness, why have I not had lamb my whole life? And then the next 2 times I had lamb, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is awful. What is wrong with this? This is not what I had. And then I found out lamb can be either goat or sheep. And I think the difference is when I have sheep, I like it a lot more than when it's goat. But I could be wrong. That's my hypothesis. You must care for it until the 14th day of the month. Then the whole community of Israelites will kill them kill it around sundown. So you're going to take this sheep. You're going to care for it for 4 days. Okay, so is this 3 nights? Are we doing the 3 nights again? Because we're on the 10th, 11, 12, 13, 14. I guess that's 5, actually. If you start on the 10 and you get to 14, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's Torah. It's Torah there. Glad I counted that out. I missed it. All right. I let it go a little longer. You get mad when I rush to put the hat on. Now it's on. Okay. Until sundown. Why? That's the next day. Then, they will take some of the blood and put it on the 2 side posts and the top of the door frame of the houses where they will eat it. They will eat the meat the same night. They will eat it roasted over the fire with bread made without yeast. Favorite way to eat is curried? I don't think I've had it curried. Oh, is it suddenly? Well, it did say it was unstable there. It did say it was unstable, so yeah, it might be doing that. It did have a little bit in the last 15 minutes, probably a minute or 2 ago. So you're going to eat it the same night. You're to roast it over the fire and with bread without yeast. Yeah, Caribbean jerk. Yeah. Yep. Or sorry, curried. I would have thought curried was Indian. Yours is getting choppy. Wondering if it's a length of time. You're going to refresh. Okay, refresh and let us know. It's still telling me it's unstable, so it could be me, or it could be Twitch again. You must and with bitter herbs. Do not eat it raw or boil in water. So you can't eat the lamb raw. You can't eat it boiled in water, but roast it over fire with its head, its legs, and its entrails. You must leave nothing until morning, but you must burn with fire whatever remains of it until morning. So if you don't eat it, you burn it. You either eat it or you burn it. You like them grilled? Like I said, I don't have it too often. Never had Indian lamb, but you would love to try it. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, when you said Caribbean, that's why my mind went to jerk. I think jerk lamb would be great. Yeah, that's what I was thinking I was thinking also, you were thinking time of day, Luces. I was thinking how long I've been streaming, because it's been 2 hours I've been streaming, and now it's happening at the 2-hour mark. So it could be how long I was streaming for is the culprit. I don't know. We won't be much longer, or I would refresh my whole stream and see if that did anything. If anyone else starts having problems, I'll do a refresh on my stream. Yeah, 2 different times? Okay. All right, so we're going through what we are to eat and what we are to do, and we are to not leave anything until morning. This is how you are to eat it. Dressed to travel, your sandals on your feet, your staff in your hand. You are to eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So how are you to eat? You are to eat with one hand and one hand on your staff and your shoes on your feet. Okay, I don't know if they're eating the same way. This will be a good question. Like, are they reclining at a table as they eat, like they do in the New Testament, where you are leaning on someone else, and you would have your shoes off and your feet washed because someone is leaning on you? So with your feet, your sandals on your feet, this is not the normal way to eat, for sure, in their household. And it's the Lord's Passover, and you eat it in a hurry. I'm watching with some roti fried plantains, cabbage, and Caribbean macaroni and cheese. I'm there with the cabbage and the plantains. I don't know if I know what roti is, or roti, and I'm not touching mac and cheese. Why would I dilute cheese with noodles? Just give me cheese. Beans and rice can be okay. Mel, my husband doesn't like it, so you don't have it often, but occasionally he'll grill some for you. That sounds awesome. We're having food talk. Some of the best Jamaican food I've ever had in your life came from New York. Get your eat on in my head. Yes. In my stead. Yes. So I did go to Jamaica a couple of years ago. And yes, this is flatbread. And I did bring back jerk spice from Jamaica. I brought a container this big of jerk spice back from Jamaica. I gave some to my son-in-law, my mother-in-law, my mother, just small little things, like a regular size shaker out of that. And my wife and I just loved it so much and started using it so much. I think I went through a container this big in 4 months. I was out of jerk spice in 4 months, and I'm like, man, I should have bought more. But I bought stuff at the store before that says jerk spice is nowhere near as good as the stuff I brought back from Jamaica, so. Okay, the stream is choppy for you, Zack Attack. Okay, I am going to hit a stop stream and restart the stream and see if that helps. Okay. Noodle-shaped cheese with a cheese sauce. Gamer, I like that. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to stop the stream and restart it in 3, 2, 1.